Schumann's interesting because these three-string quartets come from 1842, and in the 2 years prior to that he had dedicated a year basically to writing songs and a year basically to writing orchestral works, symphonies. So he immersed himself in a particular genre. Schumann studied the quartets of composers like Haydn, like Mozart and like Beethoven, and he really admired the late quartets of Beethoven. But when he came to write his own string quartets, like this string quartet number 3 from Opus 41, he wrote them on a much more human scale. He was a very human man. I mean, he was unhappy a lot of the time. He loved his wife passionately. He loved his music passionately. Schumann rolls it back, brings it back to the individual and writes music that is somehow perhaps more accessible, a little bit more comprehensible, and deals more in human emotion, in human understanding and in human expression. When you listen to this string quartet, some people have sort of somewhat unkindly described it as Schumann having written music for a string quartet but not string quartet music. I think a lot of people hear very pianistic textures in this music, so almost a literal translation of a chord on the piano to a chord of a very homophonic sound for the string players. And the melodic ideas are not dissimilar to a lot of his piano writing. And I think maybe Schumann was a little bit cognizant of that as well, because following the composition of this third string quartet, he didn't write another piece of chamber music that didn't include piano.